Hello from Cape Town. I'm Dave Meldrum. I'm married to Terry's daughter Bev, which gives me the privilege of having been Terry's son-in-law. And as Kerry or I can attest to, Terry was the very best father-in-law that we could have wished for. As any of you listening to this will know, Terry was a kind, gentle, humble, generous, faithful man whose example of faith and living life well was a continual source of hope and inspiration. We're going to miss him. He was born on the 5th of June 1936 and grew up in Edmonton, just around the corner from Croyland Church. He decided to join Croyland as a young man for the really profound spiritual reason of football. It was a toss-up between Croyland and the local Anglican church, but Croyland had the better team, so he chose there. He was also, it turns out, a good ice skater, which he learnt to do at Queen's Ice Rink, and his old ice skates have recently been found in the back of a cupboard. He was the first in his family to go to college, where he studied accounting. He said that it wasn't that he was particularly desperate to go into accounting. He didn't particularly choose to. He used to tell Graham that he wasn't good at anything else practical, which I guess his lack of DIY skills would attest to, so he ended up rather falling into accounting. During his stint of national service, he was a radar operator in the RAF, and maybe that is part of the root of his love of travelling, something he didn't do much of until later on in his life with Brenda. Terry worked as an accountant for many years and was a partner at a city firm until he decided to leave his job and go into full-time ministry as an elder here at Croyland. He had served at Croyland and in the gospel group Freeway with others from Croyland, preaching and teaching in Sunday school for many, many years. And when New River took on the mantle from Croyland, Terry moved to Chase Fellowship and worship there. Quite a few other old Croylanders ended up there as well. Visiting on a Sunday morning can feel like a bit of a Croyland reunion. Terry and Pam met at Herne Bay Court Christian Holiday Centre and were married in 1969. Pam had trained as a hairdresser, hence all Bev and Graham's homemade haircuts, and then worked in a children's home. Her passion for children led her and Terry to foster children and then adopt Bev and Graham. Having met at Herne Bay Court, they took the family back there many times. By the time Bev and Graham left home, they must have been to Herne Bay Court more than 20 times, and some of those were, of course, for the memorable Croyland Church weekends away. Everyone still remembers games like Chubby Bunny and being amazed at exactly how many marshmallows certain people could stuff in their mouths. Graham remembers playing cricket with Terry in the nets, crazy golf and lots of swimming, even though Terry couldn't see the end of his nose if he wasn't wearing his glasses. When Bev asked Terry why they went on so many holidays at Christmas and Easter and in the summer, he said that he and Pam wanted Graham and Bev to have a better childhood than they did. Part of that was holidays whenever possible. They always went to Christian holiday centres, as well as Herne Bay. The family spent lots of time at Pilgrim Hall, Highley and Capernaway, making lots of good memories together. When Pam became seriously ill, Terry was a tremendously calm and steady support to her and the whole family. When she eventually died in 1999, the family were able to grieve together, but not without hope. It was only a few months later that Terry was giving his Father of the Bride speech at Bev and my wedding, which was such a funny, kind and insightful speech that he got a standing ovation. Brenda was the best kind of companion for Terry in his later years. She enabled him to do things he would not have done otherwise, such as travel and theatre trips, and they would regularly have been seen out for a pub lunch in and around Enfield. The family remained so glad that they had each other after losing their first spouses too soon. Brenda helped Terry to live his life to the full. Terry was a calm, generous man with a wonderful outlook on life that Graham sums up as saying, "It's all a gift from God." He may not always have been the best at showing emotions, but he always pitched in for family events and celebrations. For Graham's 40th birthday, he joined in with 10-pin bowling at the age of 78, and people were amazed at how well he did, even if they were a little worried that he was going to fall over each time. On one shot, he let go of the ball too early and sent it flying backwards. He was rather better at reading than he was at 10-pin bowling. He loved reading, often with several books on the go, and he would talk theology with anyone willing to listen. I have many memories of doing so with him, and of him picking me up on things he wanted to discuss with me from what he'd heard me or someone else preach. Even in hospital, he couldn't resist chatting theology and accounting with Kev Nash. He came alive when he was talking about his faith. He was strong and independent through all of this, a character feature that has its difficulties as well as its benefits. As he struggled to hear over the last years, he still often wouldn't wear his hearing aid, and that same strength and independence probably explains why he kept receipts, papers and magazines going back to the 1980s. He loved being a grandfather to Ella, Daisy, Ruby and Olivia, Morgan, Keanu and Jenica. He enjoyed meeting his South African grandchildren on trips out there, and they loved meeting him. They formed a close bond with him very quickly, and they were welcomed with open arms into the family. The granddaughters in London loved that whenever they visited Terry at his place, there was always food and something for them to do, even if they were only visiting for a few hours. All of us, as a wider family, have great memories of the meals out we shared together for different celebrations, Terry paying for it when most of us couldn't. These were such special and cherished family times. We love Terry, and we miss him so much. We're deeply thankful to God for his life, faith, and example of how to run the race set out before each of us. We will cherish the things he showed us and encouraged each of us personally to do, as we know each of you listening will also do. It's sad and good at the same time to remember him together today, and we thank God together for the gift of the life of Terry Walker.